Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. In this video, inshallah ta'ala, I'm going to address a very important thing, and I'd like to speak to the youngsters, but also the elders, the fathers, the mothers, the guardians of the youngsters that want to get married. And of course, I want the youngsters to pay very close attention right now as well. We have made marriage so hard for the youth nowadays. When I say we, I'm not talking about myself. I'm just trying to be polite and not say you and make you feel bad. But you guys, not all of you, but some of you, in fact quite a lot of you, have made marriage so hard for the youngsters because you put so much pressure on them that when they get married, they've got to have this much dowry, the hall's got to be this expensive, you've got to invite this many family members, the catering has to be from this person, we have to feed this many people, you have to pay for this, and marriage is very expensive now. I mean, if we're going by, average standards, the lowest, like the cheapest kind of wedding you can get nowadays is going to be about 10k. Anything below 10k is a wedding that doesn't have all of the fancy stuff that you want. So 10k is like the minimum for a fancy wedding. So you've made marriage very hard. And that's why a lot of the youngsters are not getting married. But what you don't know, what we don't realize, is that in making marriage very difficult, we allowed something else to become very easy. And that is zina, fornication. We made fornication extremely easy for the youngsters. When I say we, again, I'm not talking about myself. And inshallah, not yourself either. But people have made it very easy. Why? Because fornication just costs you 2 cinema tickets and a large popcorn to share. That's how much it costs to go fornicate. For your daughter to sleep around with another man, or for your son to sleep around with another man's daughter, it costs a popcorn, 2 cinema tickets. If he wants to be a bit more classy, just, a little payment to the Hotel Iblis. Hotel Ibis. Hotel Iblis. That's what I call it, Hotel Iblis. Just a little, and just take her there for a few hours. It's very sad, very tragic. We don't realize is that they have desires. The youngsters, the youth, they have desires, and Allah Azza wa Jalla placed these desires inside of them. Allah says, "Zuyyina lin-nasi hubbu ash-shahawati min an-nisa." Allah says, we placed inside of them, inside of the people, the desire for women. Men desire women. They've been given that desire. Does that make sense? And you can tell him be strong, and you can tell him hold firm. But Allah said, "Khuliqa al-insanu dha'ifa." We created the human being weak. And the tafsir of some of the Salaf mentions here, it means weak in the affairs of the women. They're very weak when it comes to women. Allah is telling you the human being is weak, the man is weak. And they have this desire for each other. And we've made marriage so hard, yet we've made zina so easy. And the sad reality, and I'll be so honest with you, is that so many of us have no clue that our children are already sexually active. We all want to believe that it's not our children, and inshallah it's not our children, but the reality is that they are at huge risk, and we need to wake up and smell the coffee and realize that statistics, they speak for themselves. 68%, that's basically 70% of Muslim youth are sexually active outside of marriage, and we are to blame for that, because we made marriage hard. Does that make sense? And that's why I want to say to the adults who are listening and the youngsters who are listening, and I'm going to do something a bit. I'm going to plug Zina Match. I have to. I have to. I can't even feel shy about it anymore. Zina Match is a matchmaking service that myself and my team, not the whole team, but some of the team, put together. We put this together. Why? Because we saw the need in the Muslim community to find practicing religious spouses in a 100% halal way. So we put this together. Does that make sense? Now, what does Zina Match have to do with weddings being expensive? Well, right now, because of the whole COVID-19 outbreak, weddings are going to be cheap. They're going to be extremely cheap. In fact, it's literally, you can get away with just serving people dates because no one's trying to come out for a function anymore. And the reason I'm saying this here to the youngsters is that right now is the time to get married. If finances and money is a big problem, then you need to get on Zina Match ASAP. Find a spouse. Because this is not going to blow over in a couple of weeks. This is something that unfortunately looks like it's going to be around for a few months. Few months, some are saying it could last up to a year. I've even heard some say 2 years. Inshallah, it won't be that long. Inshallah, Allah Azza wa Jalla will uplift this calamity from as soon as possible. But you need to not waste any time. Because you could find, I mean, there's a brother on Sunnah Match who found a spouse in like September, and then he got married in December. Like 3 months. There's another brother who found a match on Sunnah Match, and alhamdulillah, literally the wedding is scheduled for a few months. And they're making use of the whole COVID-19 situation, because you don't have to have a big wedding. You have to call crazy people. And for the parents who think, I'm going to be, ostracized by the community, what are the people going to think? Well, this is your perfect excuse. COVID-19, people, like no one's going to turn up to the wedding, so we had to get our son or daughter married, so sorry, we couldn't invite you. I mean, you don't have to say we couldn't invite you. You can even send that invitation, they're not going to come. So this is a good time to really encourage your child, your daughter, or if you are a child or daughter, it's a good time for you to start looking into marriage. Does that make sense? So we wanted to make it easy for the people, inshallah ta'ala, in this difficult time. So Sunnah Match got offer running right now, which is £5 off for the first month. It's a monthly subscription, £15 a month, but £5 off the first month, inshallah ta'ala. In case you want to check it out and you don't want to commit too tough, here you go, check it out, inshallah ta'ala. It's just going to cost you £10. Click the link below, inshallah ta'ala. Use the promotional code isolation. The code is isolation. Use this code, get onto Sunnah Match instantaneously, immediately, inshallah ta'ala, and start searching for that spouse of yours. If you're an adult listening, help your daughter get on Sunnah Match, help your son get on Sunnah Match, and be a part of their journey. Does that make sense? You can even do marriage meetings via, technology nowadays, and we're going to be promoting that kind of technology during this difficult time, because people may not be able to have marriage meetings, during this mad kind of time. But they can start, seeing and engaging with their potential spouse, of course, with the guardian of the girl present throughout that whole process, inshallah ta'ala. I mean, we direct you guys throughout the process. All you need to do is just click the link below, inshallah ta'ala, use the coupon code isolation, make sure you type it in capitals, inshallah ta'ala, and just start searching for this other match. Listen, I'm not going to lie to you until you find a spouse and you get married to them in a month or 2 or 3 months. That's not everyone. It could take you months before you even find the right person. You might have many marriage meetings. In fact, we encourage people to have as many marriage meetings as possible so they can have a more diverse, pool of potential prospects to choose from. Because the same way with work, you don't just throw your CV out to one place and get the job at the first place that gives you an interview. You apply to as many places as possible, do as many interviews as possible, have as many job offers, and then based upon that, you pick the one that is most compatible with yourself. We encourage that kind of mindset. So this could take up to months, it could take months, it could take up to a year. The point is, start the process now. Does that make sense? And I pray that Allah Azza wa Jalla allows you to find that spouse. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Click the link below if you're on Instagram. Click the link in my bio. Use the promo code, and I'll see you on the other side. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.